Hello again, I am Blunty, and after 35 hours between the wings, I am so done with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So very, very done. For those of you new around here, I'm a heavy gamer, have been all of my life, and I've been through my fair share of rough game launches over the years, and I've got a lot of forgiveness and patience ready for an otherwise fun game that got mired by launch issues like bugs and server problems. I mean, look, I was a pre-order guy for No Man's Sky, and Cyberpunk 2077, and Fallout 76. In fact, I was a bloody Power Armor Collector's Edition pre-order guy for 76, so I know from when I spake. I know what it's like to be disappointed with a game that failed to live up to the dev and publisher promises at launch and the hype you had for it and the disappointment that carries. But with No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077 and Fallout 76, I also know that with a dedicated enough dev, glorious redemption is possible. All those games now rank among my favourites of mine these days. I've still been actively playing No Man's Sky and Fallout 76 quite recently, and I have been mulling over another playthrough of Cyberpunk, if I'm honest with you. So, when I say I'm done with Flight Sim 2024, I mean I'm done trying with it until, or unless, they fix it, and it needs a lot of fixing, because right now it's not just the server issues we saw on day one that stopped people from even being able to play it at all. No, those server issues are in fact largely over. The general performance of the game and the server streaming stuff is actually pretty solid, and has been since at least late on day two. It is other stuff that has me to the point of near rage quitting, a point I reached on live streams over the weekend. And I'm far from alone. Let me know on the down below how you're feeling about it. But the review bombing over on Steam on day one over server issues has not abated or reversed itself yet because, well, the game isn't fixed yet. Because the servers are okay now, as I mentioned, but there's still a catastrophe of game-breaking issues killing this thing from the inside out for countless players. You'll easily find piles of reviews listed under product refunded tags on Steam. And the active users have more than halved in just the 5 days since launch. That's not a very good sign of a game that people are enjoying, is it? That's just on Steam, of course, but that is an important metric because, well, everybody who plays it on Steam purchased it. We don't know the active players on Xbox Game Pass, where at least a significant number of people were trying this product for, well, not free, but no additional cost beyond the Game Pass subscription. So no extra buy-in cost, very low friction to try it out. But yeah, everyone on Steam forked over their hard-earned for it. And I bet those Game Pass people were even less likely to stick around with the damn thing when it doesn't work properly, because, well, you didn't pay anything, so what's to stop you just walking away? What are you losing? Which actually begs the question, did the servers actually get fixed, or upgraded, or enhanced, or did the problem just kind of solve itself because enough players abandoned even trying to play it after all those initial issues, so the servers were dealing with less? I mean, the devs have taken credit for fixing the servers, but did they really? Or did enough players just quit and go away, so they weren't causing the problem with overloaded servers anymore? You have to wonder. But even the players with more patience and, awareness of how titles like this function under the hood, I mean, we were all expecting day one issues, let's be fair, or anyone who knew how things work anyway, were expecting the server issues, and we also knew full well they would pass soon enough. They didn't pass nearly as quickly as some of us were expecting or hoping, but nevertheless. But those more dedicated players who really wanted to enjoy Flight Sim 2024, were bought into it, were really looking forward to it, are also still falling away from it. I've seen it everywhere. Steam, the main subreddits for the title itself, and Flight Sim players in general, social media, everywhere I look. I'm far from alone in just closing the game down with absolutely no intent to ever boot it up again, or until at least some major work is done with patches and bug fixes. I'm not even going to look at it again for at least a month or two. That's how broken it is, and that's how long I think it'll take to fix a lot of the issues that I'm facing that, turned me away from it. So for me, the killer blow was the fact that the two big things, new features, that I was most looking forward to, things I've personally even hyped up in other videos pre-release, things I tried to make even more people aware of because I was so excited about them. I wanted other people to be excited about them too. You know, the non-sim players, the more general gamers who might ordinarily ignore a flight sim thinking it was sort of dry and boring, but I wanted them to take notice of these things. The heavily gamified career mode and the virtual tourism style photo challenge mode. It's much more attractive for, you know, the average gamer versus the hardcore simmer. And both of these things are utterly broken right now. Just foobar. The photo mode is hugely half-assed, with extremely poorly written requirements, clearly made by someone who doesn't understand photography or how to talk about photography, and didn't even test a lot of these challenges because several of the ones I went to, the location was ridiculous. Just why would you send someone to photograph that? It looks so shit. Why wouldn't you send them to the places you've worked on? And even past those issues, like 40% of the time, I'm not even kidding, like 40% of the time that I snapped a photo, the game refused to acknowledge the photo was even taken. It's supposed to work like this. You take the photo and the game goes, okay, well, you did the things I expected. You took a photo of this object and the sun was in this position in the frame and this thing was in the foreground, you know, stuff like that. But it would just refuse to acknowledge the photo was taken and rate it like that. It was often the case I had to try 3 or 4 times to take the photo before it would even acknowledge that the photo was taken and then rate it. Oh my god, would you just please work? Ah! Work, damn you! Acknowledge that I took a photo. Please! Just acknowledge that I took a photo. Work on what you need from me later. Just acknowledge that I took it. Alright, I'm done. I'm officially done. But the worst part is the career mode. I was really looking forward to the career mode. It was easily the thing I was most excited for. It is so catastrophically fucked, it's too broken to play. There's certain missions that simply glitch out. They stop showing the traffic pattern that you are required to fly to get the best score and rating. And this is career mode. This is a mode to lead beginners through. You know, this is low-level stuff, early on stuff. So, you know, so having a landing pattern flight path laid out for us is kind of important. So when it doesn't show that, that's a big friggin' problem. There's bugs that mean the game leads you to taxi positions in airports that don't make any sense, that are nowhere near the takeoff point, or they ask you to take off from a landing strip that doesn't exist. That's happened to me twice already, and I'm not even that deep into career mode. And then they penalize you for taking off from the exact spot the UI has led you towards with big blue arrows and everything. Go, nope, you didn't take off from the airstrip, bad boy. And then it hits you with demerit points and penalties for things you are not even doing or would ever expect to have to do because the game didn't tell you that you needed to do those things, like being penalized for not using your taxi lights in the middle of the day under bright sunny skies when the lights would make no difference anyway, and haven't been a requirement for any other flight you've done at that time of day in that aircraft. Or how about not radioing in properly at points in the flight where no such prompt was ever even offered, where every other time you are supposed to radio, it says, hey, press the button to do the radio thing. Well, it just doesn't do that and says, hey, you missed a call in on the radio, bad boy, bad pilot. I was never even given the chance, fuck you. Or how about being penalized for flying over an airport, or 5 airports, while on the cruise route where no airport even exists underneath you, and none exist for dozens upon dozens of nautical miles at least, like the one you took off from 5 minutes back. Or dinging me for extending my flaps while flying too fast. This is a thing I have done many times, but this was on a flight where I made the point to never once even extend the flaps at all, at any point in the flight, at any speed. And it still said I put them down when I was flying too fast. Fuck you!
Apparently it was a tough flight. Hope my bird is okay. Wouldn't want it to go straight back for maintenance.
Fuck you, guy. What do you mean, max speed with F? I didn't even deploy the flaps at all. The fuck are you talking about? I very deliberately did not put the flaps down at all on that because every time I have on that plane, it pinged me. No matter what speed I was doing. Fuck you. This is some bullshit. I think I might just leave career mode alone. Only it's on night. It wasn't a night takeoff though. I gotta protest losing those points. It was not a night takeoff. It was 10:40 a.m. in the fucking morning. The sun was well and truly up and had been for several hours. And this is not just me making shit up or misunderstanding how the game works. This stuff happened while I was live streaming. I have dozens of witnesses who watched this happen. It is beyond frustrating. Career mode is continually penalizing me for so-called mistakes that never happened or make no sense at all. It is just pointless to even try to play this career mode right now. It is that broken. It doesn't work properly. Because at any point, for any reason, the game just nukes your reputation and score for no reason, stalling or even reversing any progress you have earned or should be earning. I'm a pretty ordinary pilot. I'll freely admit that. And I'm happy to be pinged for mistakes I actually make. I've spoken about this before, pre-release when I was talking about the career mode. I said, oh, this is fantastic. It'll make me a better pilot because it rates me on all the little things I'm doing wrong so I can pay more attention to that and get them right. I want that system to teach me. I want to be able to learn from it and get better at being a pilot. But when I'm being kicked in the shins for no reason, for stuff I didn't do and shouldn't be expected to do, well, it's time to tell the Asobo Studios and this broken-ass game to piss off. It clearly has launched unfinished. It is not ready for launch. And I spoke about this in a previous video. There's missing features at launch. There's missing content. There's stuff that was promised that just isn't there. The API for third-party developers isn't even finished. So the marketplace is broken and missing, and third-party devs can't finish their work. I'm convinced the only reason this thing even launched at all when it did is because it's called Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and we're running out of 2024 to release it in. So they just vomited up whatever they had done just to hit that release date. That's what happened. It's clearly unfinished. It is not ready. It's broken, and there's bunches of stuff missing from it. So they're just sitting there swearing to fix it later. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Probably a few weeks, I don't know. Yeah. It'll be ready when it's ready. No, you launched it unfinished, you bastards. It's not good enough. It's irresponsible. It's greedy and ultimately self-sabotaging because Asobo are now on my shit list of devs who I will never ever trust again. From here on in, it's show don't tell before I believe anything they claim. They're liars as far as I'm concerned, and a liar is always a liar. No more benefit of the doubt. No more defense under goodwill. No more patience. No more making excuses for you to other people who are raging at you. No, I'm not even going to try and calm them down anymore, even if they're flying off the handle for silly reasons. Fuck it. Eat it all, Asobo. In fact, except for the fact that my copy was a content creator code that I got through Keymailer for free, I would have refunded this already just out of principle. I did uninstall the Game Pass version. I also had installed, just on the chance that that's a metric they track somewhere in any meaningful way. Oh, look how many people uninstalled it after a few hours. I gave them 35 hours of my time between the Game Pass version and the Steam version, and that was a very generous 35 hours. That was a lot of frustrating hours in those 35 hours. I gave them way more patience and time and benefit of the doubt that it turns out that they deserve. But, you know, I'm drawing the line here. This far, no further. How mad am I about it? Well, enough to make a video like this to express it, I guess, because this is not something I often do when deciding a game is not good enough to keep playing. Usually, you play a game and go, oh, well, that's not for me. I guess I'll just play something else. I don't make a whole video rant about how bad it is, unless it is particularly bad, and, you know, of course, high enough profile for other people to give a crap. But this fills that Venn diagram out. I'm annoyed enough at it, it's high profile enough, I was excited enough about it, and I want to warn more people away from it. Don't bother. If you are waiting for the servers to be fixed, you know, on day one, you saw all the problems, you go, oh, I'll just give it a week and wait. No, keep waiting. Or just decide not to get it altogether. It's so broken right now. Not worth your money. Spend it elsewhere. The money's burning a hole in your pocket, and I give it to me. I haven't pre-ordered Monster Hunter Wilds yet. I need some money for that. How much does the top-end edition of that cost? I've got no problem with pre-ordering that thing. I've got confidence in the Monster Hunter team. They've learned that the hard way. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's probably going to have issues on day one as well, but still. Video gaming, it's a heck of a hobby. Yeah, so let me know down below how you're feeling about it. Thank you, as always, to the patrons for your support. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Like a glove. Just a meter and a half to spare.